Nevada, the great silver state and the gold. New tales of Nevada, the stories, people working hard to make a home. Old tales of Nevada.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We have a great show for you this week. Actually, part 2 of our story of the Cullen and Marshall family. We'll have the whole story for you right after this.
Hi, I'm Hugh Marshall from the Marshall Mint, Virginia City and Reno, Nevada. I'm to introduce you to the Let 'em Run Wild Horse Mustang series, which depicts the wild Mustangs herd running free, mare and its foal, the wild Mustangs fighting for love. These ingots are a limited edition double-struck product on 1 troy ounce 3-pine silver and are only available at the Marshall Mint, Virginia City or Reno, Nevada. Get your piece of history today.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Welcome, everybody, to Old Tales of Nevada. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show, and with me, as usual, is Hugh Marshall, our executive producer, but also today, our special guest. If you remember last week's show, we did part 1 of the story about the Cullens and the Marshalls, and today we're going to take that another step further as Hugh makes his trek from Texas to Nevada.
Yep.
So welcome back to the show, Hugh.
You bet you do.
All right. Hey, as usual, we'd like to start the show by letting people know why we do the show.
Sure.
And you always do that for us, so I'm going to ask you to do that today.
Well, you betcha. We do this show every week because of the history of the state of Nevada and really its impact upon the United States of America, which a lot of people don't know. So they may be not so proud of the state of Nevada. But they should be, because after the Civil War, the United States had no money and was broke and owed more than what we were worth to France, Germany, and England. And it was charity from the Comstock Silver and the Bonanza Kings that bailed Abraham Lincoln out, and thus the state of Nevada was created in 1864.
So we have a lot of things to be proud about here in Nevada.
Oh, yeah, that's one of them. And, of course, the dollar was more or less invented here that became the world's currency.
Yeah, that's right. And over time, we've had these great entrepreneurs that have come into Nevada and done some great things, right?
Fantastic things.
Yeah. But you always say that all of us make a mark here on the earth, don't we?
Mm-hmm, most definitely.
Yeah, and whether we're a prominent millionaire or Joe the plumber, we always bring something good to life, don't we?
Yeah, and you really don't know what the effect will be on any person's life.
That's right. But we seem to have a plethora of good folks here in Nevada.
Definitely.
And it brings us pride to have those folks living here in northern Nevada and taking care of each other, because we have a great community spirit here, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. It's a pioneer spirit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And your family was like that, as we learned last week, down in big state of Texas, where they had a huge amount of pride, right? Yes, Texas pride. That's right.
Big pride.
Yeah. And we had a great time talking about your granddad and the great work he did down there. And talk about a guy who took advantage of opportunity. He certainly did, didn't he?
Well, he just was a very friendly man.
Very friendly man, but he was a visionary, really, in many ways, wasn't he?
Well, he was psychic.
You say he was psychic, but he was known as one of the most prominent wildcatters down there in Texas, as we learned last week, and became a very wealthy man.
Oh, yeah.
Very wealthy. And his education was what, 6th grade?
He barely got through the 6th grade. Yeah.
6th grade, yeah. So anyway, you had a chance to be around a man like that for a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you lived with him at his big house down there called the White House. And as you grew up, you were able to take advantage of a lot of the people that he came in contact with. You were showing me some pictures earlier of you sitting right next to Anwar Sadat, who used to be the president of Egypt, right?
Yeah.
And who was the king of Syria?
King Hussein of Jordan.
Jordan. I always say Syria, but it's Jordan. And then Saudi Arabia.
All the kings from all the Arab
All the
countries.
kings. And you're right in the middle of all
They've
that.
all been to the ranch.
Yeah, they've all been to the ranch. And you had personal contact with them.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah. In fact, with President Sadat, you used to call him by first name, right?
Yeah.
Him and his wife?
John, yeah.
Yeah.
She's been back here 3 times since he passed away.
No kidding. Yeah, right there in the state dining room, right? You had
Yeah,
dinner
right
with him?
here, yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So I always say you've had a wonderful life.
Yeah.
But that isn't all there is to it, as we're going to discover today. Even though you were brought up in Texas and really got involved in the Texas lifestyle down there, even having a ranch that raised Arabian horses, right? You were a real cowboy back there, and
Well, my dad was from Minnesota.
oh, he was from Minnesota.
And, he liked the idea of farms, but we had a horse ranch, basically.
You had a horse ranch,
So
yeah.
when we first moved out there, it was a milking. It was a cow.
Oh, it was cows, huh?
It was a
Cattle.
milking operation.
Yeah. So he turned it into a horse ranch,
Man,
and that was, what was the name of that ranch?
Glenlock Farms.
Glenlock Farms. And then you also were telling me today off camera that you had another ranch over by San Antonio.
Oh, we had several ranches.
Oh, several ranches, yeah.
Rancho Cullen was a big ranch,
Oh, where was that located?
just outside of Columbus, Texas.
Oh,
By
okay.
where my grandmother came from.
Okay, and it was all horse ranches?
Mostly cattle ranches.
Oh, cattle ranches. Okay. Was the one in San Antonio? Was that a horse ranch or was that?
That was a horse ranch, but he had cows too.
Yeah. Wow. So, how many years did they stay involved in that kind of business?
Probably for about 40.
40 years, and then finally, because of death and whatever, those properties were all sold off, right?
Yeah, he worked on it a whole lifetime. He was one of 3 of the first importers of Arabian horses to the United States.
Okay.
And at the time, there were only about 1,200 here.
Okay. And so he made
And now
it.
there's about 4.5 million of them here.
4.5 million, yeah. So he was
So he developed the Arabian Horse Registry,
Oh, okay.
which registered the Arabian horses and gave them part of their value.
Okay. So again, just going back to it, your family is just an amazing bunch of folks. They all were great business people and also very charitable in what they did with their money. You were telling me at one point your grandfather gave $250 million a day for a month?
Well, for a week, yeah.
For a week, and that was towards the end of his life, right?
No,
No? This was when he was going
a little
strong.
bit younger, yeah.
No kidding.
See, he
Wow.
spent his last year in a hospital bed
Oh.
with a blood clot on the brain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he
Yeah.
died at what? Age 67?
67.
That's
67.
amazing. 67, yeah. So we come up to the 1970s and had your grandfather, he was still alive at that point, wasn't he?
No, he died in 57.
Oh, he died in 57. Okay. Was it your father then, as you came into the 70s?
My dad formed the trust company.
Oh, okay, okay. So you come up to about 1979, right? And you're doing some traveling. And as I understand the story, you were on an airplane with a book?
Yeah, I collected books over the years, and I noticed that the books by Rossiter Raymond reported on Ione,
Right.
Nevada as the richest place on earth, but every one of his next volumes each year never hardly repeated anything on Ione.
Ah, okay.
So I thought maybe that would, but I studied all those areas. The Comstock was a big part of his book
Yeah.
too.
How did you get your interest in the Comstock? Was it from the book? Is that what perked your interest, first of all, about Nevada, or what?
Nah, probably riding horses out here in the arena.
Oh, okay.
And then going up to Virginia City, and I met people around here, went horseback riding.
Okay, so it was the horse business that brought you out here in the first place.
time, yeah.
Oh, okay. So did you have a mining interest interest at that time, or is it
Well,
more?
we had mining interests, yeah.
Oh, you did? You had property here? Your family did?
All over the world.
All over the world? Because I thought it was oil all this time. But it was...
but they owned stocks and mining companies.
Oh, they had stock. Okay, very good. So did they send you out? Did the family send you out here to kind of...
Ride horses, yeah.
Ride horses, but also to check in on the properties and things like that? No? Okay. So what... I mean, it's hard.
My dad retired when he was 40 and spent half the time in Canada at the island and the other half at the ranch in Texas.
Oh, okay. So...
They didn't need any more money.
Yeah. But you were kind of in love with Texas, though, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that must have been a big move for you to go from...
Well, it's the pioneering spirit and the pioneering feeling.
That you get here?
Well, that I got in Texas, because we had ranches that were 15, 16, 17,000 acres of woods.
Wow.
So I get out there and, camp out and look for deer and jack around in the bushes for weeks.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I liked it. And then I learned how to find oil.
Oh,
first,
okay.
And then I moved into the oil company.
Okay, very good.
Houston, Quintana Petroleum Corporation.
Yeah, right. So, at some point, after you read all this stuff about Nevada and being here, you decide to make the big jump from Houston, or thereabouts, and then over here to Nevada. So that must have been a big shock to the family, I would imagine, huh? Were they for you?
Oh, no, I gradually did it.
Oh,
I had to go back for an oil meeting every month.
Yeah, because you were involved in the business.
I was the director, yeah.
Yeah, so to see you go off into Nevada to...
Eventually, I didn't have to do that anymore.
Oh, okay. They kind of took over some of the responsibility.
Well, they sold the oil company.
Oh, they sold the oil company. Okay, very good. So your first stop in Nevada was Ione, correct? No? Okay. So what made you want to buy the town?
Well,
I mean, how do you buy a town? I mean, was somebody else had it, or the state had it, and you put in a bid for it? What happened there?
Well, Tom Robinson, who lives in Fallon, he's still alive, I imagine. He was the person that had sold me the property, but a couple that was in Virginia City who ran a bar there I knew.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I knew the people that were running the bar in Ione.
Oh, okay. So one thing led to another.
They wanted me to move out there and get rid of the previous owner pretty quick.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of how it happened.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, listen, I want to get more into Ione, so I want to take a break here. We got to listen to a couple of our sponsors, like the Marshall Mint and other folks. So we'll be back, and we'll get into that story about Ione on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop, located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Somewhere in Time is a place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected. High-end die-cast models, vintage and antique furniture, Fenton glassware, kerosene lamps, toy trains, vintage neon, a new home decor selection, brothel and casino memorabilia, jewelry creations, and cameras in large collections throughout the store. Bring the family and find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on Virginia Street in Reno.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must. The newest color block in soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets. Exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
We're back here on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We're talking with Hugh Roy Marshall, and we're recounting the history of the Cullen and Marshall family. And today's focus is on Hugh Roy's move here to Nevada and everything he's done since 1979 up till present. So we're going to take the veil off the story here. And Hugh Roy, you've had a great time here in Nevada, but let's talk about your first stop. That was down in Ione. Tell us a little bit about Ione. What perked your interest in even getting into that area, and why would you buy that particular part of the country?
Well, let me tell you what happened. During the mid-'70s, I got involved with the astronauts that installed the space station.
Oh, okay.
And Colonel Pogue and his whole group took pictures for me from outer space.
Oh, neat.
And they started the Landsat program from South Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Originally in 1969. So I was aware of these early methods of examining the Earth from the satellite.
All right.
And I developed my own method and technique for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And during that period of time, I was president of the American Arab Society, the Iran-American Chamber of Commerce, and was involved with a number of the major countries.
Okay.
In looking at their minerals.
Okay.
China, Russia, parts of South America, Mexico.
And so from outer space, you saw Ione.
Well, basically, Ione is a very, very interesting place, which you're going to find when you go out there.
Yeah.
You see, there was the land just on the other side of us is an Indian reservation, but originally that was an inland sea.
Oh, okay.
And at the head of the Indian reservation up above there was a big volcano.
Mm.
And then on the other side of this sea was another volcano. And what happened is basically that created a perfect environment for oil formation.
Oh, oil. Okay, so that was your original interest, was the oil.
Yeah.
You thought was there, and it may be there.
I drilled a well in Tonopah just to more or less, test the area.
Uh-huh.
And I basically saw what I wanted to see with that operation. Okay.
So here you move from Houston, a metropolitan big city.
Well, I lived in a ranch, though.
You lived on a ranch?
Yeah, right in town.
Well, in Houston.
2,500 acres, though.
Yeah, 2,500 acres. But still, you're pretty close to the big city.
Oh, yeah.
So now you decide to move to Nevada, and you moved right to Ione, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where you spent your time. Mm-hmm. Well, it must have been kind of lonely out there.
No, I had two babies and a wife.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You had a family. So what did your wife think about that whole move, huh?
I made her take care of the bar.
Okay. And she was up for that challenge, huh?
Oh, she loved it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like it at all. But
you didn't like it at all?
Not her being over there every night, yeah.
Yeah, but so how many people lived in Ione at that time?
About 70.
About 70 people, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So they were probably happy to see you come and open that bar. Was the bar operating in those days?
They were all my employees.
Oh, they were your employees. Yeah. Okay, good. And what was the name of the company you started there? Was that the Marshall
Earth Resources?
Oh, okay. So you actually opened up a mining operation there, originally, though, for oil.
No, for gold.
For gold, okay. So you actually had a processing plant and you actually extracted gold. So tell us about the richness of that area. Was it worth the effort?
Well, it's very rich in minerals there.
Yeah, what kind?
And it's particularly rich in gold.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And was it always that way? Had anybody worked that area before?
Not in the right places at all.
Oh, okay.
They were looking for silver.
Oh, they were looking for silver.
The Shamrock mines and mining companies were the only mining companies working there.
Okay.
At Berlin, where the state park is at, the mine there called Diana is the name of the claim there. They would produce 7 12-pound bricks a week.
Really? That's pretty good, right?
And that area has a lot of gold on it, and I have all those properties around there.
You have that as well. Well, like we said in the past, you're probably the most prolific privately owned claim owner in Nevada. You probably have more privately owned claims than anybody, right?
Probably privately owned, yeah.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. So, being in Ione, did you strike it rich there? Did you find what you were looking for as far as the gold content and different things?
Yeah, and it took me, at least 7, 8 years to acquire the properties from the people.
Is that right?
They were all prospectors and people that own those properties that were there.
Yeah. So did you do all your own negotiation, or did you have somebody helping you with that?
Well, with the negotiation with the people from Utah who owned it, my attorney from Washington handled that one.
So there were some larger claim owners. It wasn't just one little.
They had the Shamrock claims.
Oh, they had the Shamrock claims.
They were a Mormon group.
Yeah. So there was some early work done in Ione, but it wasn't like the Comstock, even though it had the potential, perhaps, that the Comstock had.
They weren't able to recover it.
They weren't able to cover it, huh?
No.
Why? Was it too deep or something?
No, too complex.
Too complex. So they didn't have the technology to get it?
They didn't have the technology, but the Nevada mercury mine was the largest mercury mine in the United States.
Oh, okay.
During the early days of the Mother Lode.
I see.
That area was flourishing with mercury.
Okay. So you got there in 1979, moved the family there, your wife there, and how many years did you spend in Ione?
Till 1981.
1981, okay. So, and what made you move from Ione?
The kids needed to go to a better school. Or
okay, or a school at all. I mean, Ione didn't have schools.
Well, they had school in Gabbs.
Oh, Gabbs. Now, Gabbs is how far away?
About 27 miles.
27 miles, on a dirt road.
Well, it gets paved after a while.
I got to give you credit. I mean, that's really the pioneer spirit, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to move my wife from Houston, and she probably was one who dressed well and enjoyed the city life, I suppose, right?
She came from a ranching environment in a little town called Belleville.
Oh yeah. So was it her encouragement that helped you move out of Ione, or was she the one that said, "I want to go to the big city," or what?
No, she was fairly happy out there.
She was fairly happy. Well, imagine, you'd
We'd go to Tonopah once a week and spend the night down there.
Oh, Tonopah. At the Mizpah?
It wasn't open then.
It wasn't open.
The station house was open.
Okay. The Mizpah is open again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I stay there every time I go through there.
Yeah, because there's a mining operation out there now at Tonopah Round Mountain, so a lot of the workers, I guess, live in Tonopah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, the great experience for you, I suppose, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite memory of being out there in Ione?
Probably just the quietness of it.
Yeah, at night, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, beautiful stars at night.
Yeah, canopy of stars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people today, they don't get a chance to see that so much when you live in a city, because you get that reflection from the city lights. But if you go out to Pyramid Lake, I guess that's one of the closest places you could go where you really see that canopy of stars at night in Nevada. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know that I raise lions, leopards, tigers, and bears.
Well, you even had a bear here.
I had to have some place to keep them out there, and it wouldn't have worked too well in Reno. That's for sure.
Oh, did you actually have them out there in Ione?
Mm-hmm.
You did. Wow.
I didn't even get a permit on anything until I moved to town with a bear.
No
They made me get a permit for the bear.
All right. So 1981 comes along, and evidently you had your eye on the Comstock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how that transition worked. What did you do when you came to Virginia City? Did you get right to work in buying the claims, or did you have to spend a lot of time researching what was going on? How did it come together for you?
A party from Washington, D.C. Basically hired me to take over their property.
Oh, okay. So it was owned by somebody out of Washington?
It was owned by a family that the father had died, and the wife didn't know what to do at all.
What was the name of that family? Do you recall?
Her name was Glick.
Glick.
And the name of their company was Empire Ventures.
Okay. So they owned everything?
They owned the original Con Virginia properties, but the ones that I got to start with.
Okay.
And I increased the properties quite a bit since.
And when we talk about the Con Virginia properties, we're talking about exactly where the
Con Virginia,
Big Bonanza was found.
California, all those ones right there was right
in the middle of the action.
Workings,
yeah. So that must have been exciting to be able to acquire those properties. Tell us the expanse of the property. Where does it start? Where does it end up there?
Well, it runs from the Goulden Curry to the Citro.
Okay, so that is approximately
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles. How many acres altogether are you?
Probably 7,000 or 8,000.
7,000 or 8,000 acres that you control there, huh? So in 1981, you not only went to Virginia, you bought some other property there. You have, where, the Savage?
Savage Mansion.
Savage Mansion. So you had the whole family in the Savage Mansion?
No.
No? Where did they?
They were living down here in Reno.
Oh, you had this place here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you bought...
That was my office.
Oh, that's your office.
Mining office for Virginia City.
Which is still today.
I have another office out in Ione. You'll see that one when you go out there.
Right, and I know you go down there periodically. The Savage Mansion, tell us why that was so important a place. What was the importance of the Savage Mansion?
Well, it was the only place in town that had enough room for all the stuff that I had other than the town hospital. And I didn't want to live in the town hospital. After the county showed me that, I wasn't...
How many rooms are in the Savage?
Tasty.
How many rooms are in the Savage?
Probably 8 or 9 rooms.
8 or 9 rooms? Boy, it seems bigger than that.
It's got...
How many bedrooms upstairs? There's like 5 at least, isn't
we
it?
have about 6 bedrooms.
Yeah, 6 bedrooms upstairs, and then you have the big living room there. And so anyway, you were able to purchase that and as your mining office, So then you got to work, right? You went to work looking for gold and silver. Did you have a lot of help from the prior owner as to where to look, and was there anything working at that time when you bought that property from those folks, the Glick family?
No, basically both of those areas, Ione and Virginia City, have very large anomaly areas of metal there.
Okay. Did the Glick family actually do any exploration, or they just very little? They weren't interested.
He got it in a card game.
Oh, he got it in a card game.
With a Chinaman in the Sharon House.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, and the Sharon House was very famous up there in Virginia City.
Yeah. That
was a big Chinese restaurant.
Lin Leong owned it, and he played cards there after everybody left. And pretty tall stacks of cash, I'll tell you.
No kidding, really?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Well, listen, I want to hear more about this story as we go forward here, but that's a good beginning, you know. Find out you brought your whole family to Ione, Nevada. Yahoo! Here we go. And then from there up to the Comstock. We have more, though, a lot more to the story. Stay tuned on Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present. We'll be right back.
Spring arrives at Boutique Elegante. The fabulous colors of spring, all in denim fabrics, but with accents on color, color, color. Of course, sweaters are a must. The newest color block in soft weaves. Influenced by the rainbow, beautiful little dresses, gaucho sets, the blending of fabrics to create caprice sets. Exquisite fashions for your tropical holiday, a special dinner, or the opera. You'll find all of this and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Hi, I'm Chris from Past Time at Somewhere in Time. Are you looking for that one-of-a-kind gift that you can't find in the big department store? I have something for all occasions. Got stuff? Need to know whether or not it has value or how to sell it? We can help with that too. Come and see me Tuesday or Wednesday at Past Time in Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street in Reno. Just ask for Chris.
Deluxe Travel, locally owned and operating since 1991, is the home for travel to Mexico and Central and South America. The crew at Deluxe Travel is bilingual, trustworthy, thorough, and caring. They will do everything possible to make your dream vacation the best it can be. Now is the time to book for winter travel, so stop by the office at 100 California Avenue or call 686-7000. You can also check us out on our website at deluxetravelLTD.com.
At Deluxe Travel, we sell dreams. Come in and plan yours.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
Hi, I'm Hugh Marshall from the Marshall Mint, Virginia City and Reno, Nevada. Come to introduce you to the Let 'em Run Wild Horse Mustang series, which depicts the wild Mustangs herd running free, the mare in its foal, the wild Mustangs fighting for love. These ingots are a limited edition double-struck product on 1 troy ounce 3-pine silver and are only available at the Marshall Mint, Virginia City or Reno, Nevada. Get your piece of history today.
We're back for our third segment here on Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present, and we're talking with Roy Marshall and talking about the great history of the Cullen family, which was down in Texas, and the Marshall family has a great history here in Nevada and is having a great history, and will have a great history here.
You betcha.
In Nevada. But we got to 1981. You're in the Comstock, Virginia City, and you brought the whole family up with you there. You got the Savage Mansion. You were able to acquire all of that land over there on the north side of Virginia City.
Well, that came in time afterwards.
It came in time. Yeah, came in time. You don't do that stuff overnight.
I bought this place in 1980.
You bought this in 1980, yeah. And this is where the family was?
Well, no, the fellow that lived here for a whole year because he wanted to get married on the lawn here.
Oh, okay.
It was Eugene Creech.
Okay.
He did a lot of the development up and down Moana.
Oh, he did?
He does development for casinos.
Okay. So 1980. And how many acres does this encompass?
It was about right at a little over 2 acres.
2 acres. So we're in the Marshall, what we call now the Marshall Mansion. We're in the museum room, and this house itself is about 15,000 square feet, right? Got a beautiful pool in the back, and it's just a wonderful house full of artifacts, almost like a living museum here.
Yeah, I pick up stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I know. You're a collector. So anyway, here we are, 1981. You get started up there, and did you immediately go to work examining the lay of the land and where the best place is for the gold and silver? I mean, you're right in the center of where everything happened in the past.
Well, what happened was I put an office downtown in the Security National Bank building.
Okay.
With my attorneys, Earl, Hill, Cassis, Talipko, and Irwin. Okay. And then I had other people that worked for me in that building too.
Okay. This is downtown here. Yeah. So they ran everything from here up there.
Well, they were putting out properties for me or doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. So how many years did it take you to assemble your
probably about 15 years.
15 years. Now, did you find it hard to deal with the landowners, with the claim owners? Were they trying to?
No, there wasn't any claim owners at all. It was just the government.
Oh, it was the government.
Yeah.
After the Glicks, it was the government, right? So you had to go to the BLM and negotiate the claims and so on.
Well, it was with MSHA and the BLM and opening mines and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And drilling wells too.
Yeah, it's never easy, right? When you're talking about gold mining, silver mining.
Yeah.
Even back in the 80s, there were a lot of regulations you have to jump through in order to open up anything.
Yeah.
Safety is a big concern.
It's just probably been in the last maybe 15, 20 years when our technology has taken a great jump.
Yeah. Yeah. Up until then, it was still pretty.
Yeah, up until then, it was almost chemical testing of what we could do.
Yeah, it didn't have all
Now
this.
it's, we have all kinds of ways.
All kinds.
X-ray assay.
You can look right down into the ground from up in the sky.
Yeah.
So that was really a great achievement to get all of those claims and pieces of land put together so it all became under your umbrella. But that wasn't your only activity up there on the Comstock. You had the bright idea of opening up a retail store, too.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So you opened up the Marshall Mint. Yeah. Now, that location, which is on C Street, is a very historic building.
It was the assay office.
Yeah. Originally, it's the assay office. So, is that where they first assayed the blue clay, or
No, that was done over in Grass Valley.
Oh, Grass Valley. Okay. So, but after that, I suppose everything went to the assay office.
Well, assayers, in time, became prevalent in Virginia City. It didn't happen right away.
Oh, okay.
And they couldn't figure out the ore at all. They sent it to England, to Wales in England.
All right.
And that's where the first Comstock ore was processed.
Oh, okay.
And then they worked out the method for doing it with the mercury.
Right.
Which wouldn't be too crafty today.
No, you don't want to use mercury's a bad word right now.
Yeah.
So, what was your reason for opening up the Marshall Mint? What was your thoughts there?
Well, the mint is just the final process of the making up the gold and silver.
All right. So you had to buy a mint then. You had to buy
just a press.
Press. Yeah, and you put it in that store.
It was a hotel and a bar.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
But the guy that owned it, Lynn, his son was a big coin broker in Denver, Colorado, and he liked coins a lot too.
So he was happy.
I got to talking to Lynn at nighttime about that. Before you know it, I owned his property.
Okay.
Now I'm going to put a mint in there.
Well, there was
That's kind of the way it happened.
That was a big activity up there in the Comstock, right? At night.
At that time, yeah.
Yeah, everybody went to the bars, did business at the bars,
sure,
all that kind of thing. So your Marshall Mint, as you describe it to me, is what, the 8th largest mint, privately owned mint in the United States. So what kind of work do you do with the press?
Mostly do coins for the government.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
CFOAs from each county. We do almost the whole state of Nevada.
Oh, all right.
And we have done some other work for the government, but basically I did it to develop coin series.
Okay. Yeah, name some of those. Yeah,
Angels of the Day.
Right.
The Christ Powers series.
So a lot of religious medallion type things. Okay. But you also do historic ingots and things like that, right? Especially that one we've done recently was the big bonanza coin, right?
Well, we did the ingot for the railroad, remember?
Oh, the railroad was wonderful. Yeah. But that one that has all of that beautiful artwork on it, which shows the trestle, the crown point trestle. What do you? That's our big bonanza coin.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That to me is the most beautiful coin.
And it has a lot of numismatic value.
Yeah. Now, do you still have those in stock?
Oh, yeah.
You do, huh? Yeah. But if you want to see it, go up to the Marshall Mint. What's that address up there?
96 North C Street.
96 North C Street.
First place on your right is coming to town.
That's right. Or the last place.
Last place going from Carson.
That's right. But you can see all kinds of stuff. Then you got the museum in there, too. Yeah. So you're always thinking about the folks. How do I educate the folks, right?
Yeah.
About the history of Nevada, or what, the raw materials that we see all this beautiful jewelry made of. You have it there in raw form.
Crystals of it,
Yeah. So the Marshall Mint's still operating up there, right? And then along the way, you decided that Virginia City needed a hotel. So what brought you to that? What brought you to that challenge? I mean, that's huge.
Well, the main mining works in the area were where the hotel is at now. And the major shafts that are involved in that area are in the arena.
In the arena, right. So basically you put that hotel right on top.
Well, no, almost in the same place where the other building was before.
Right. Yeah. And that building was the It was the big mill.
Virginia mining, milling, and smelting.
It was a huge complex.
They had an assay office there and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a huge complex. In fact, as you built the hotel, the architecture is different than most hotels. Why?
It looks like a mill building or a mine building.
Right. So you were trying to emulate the look of the old mill building, which is quite unique.
Yeah.
The townsfolk must have been very pleased with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, we need about between 15, 20 miners up to 40, 50 miners for our own needs there, and we wouldn't have any place else to put them other than the hotel.
That's right. It's the only real modern facility that's there. Yeah. So that's a good thing. So between the retail and between the hotel and your mining activities, you spend a lot of time up on the Comstock with the family. And how long? You had a change in the family situation there somewhere along the way, right? Yeah. You and Honey, there was a separation of the ways there, and then you found Cynthia. What's Cynthia's maiden name? Do you remember?
Nicosia.
Okay. Well, that's a hard one to remember, actually. And where did you meet Cynthia? Was she up there in the Comstock?
In the Redwater Saloon.
Oh,
Their mom, Lucy.
Okay. Well, like we said earlier, everything happens in the saloons, right, after work. So you met Cynthia, and
Lucy told me I had to marry her. That's the very first time I met Lucy.
Oh, boy. Well, I'll tell you what. Lucy doesn't pull any punches.
Oh, no, she's not a pressure.
She's a character in herself. We could do a couple of shows with her. But she had a thriving business up there.
Sure,
Lucy did.
Yeah.
Cynthia's mom. And so Cynthia worked there. Is that correct?
Well, she was still living in California, but she'd go over and help her mom.
Okay.
And then she moved there.
All right. So what year were you and Cynthia married?
Oh, God.
This is a tough one. You better know this one. You're going to be in big trouble. 80-something, right?
87, yeah.
87. That was a wonderful year. All right. So you and Cynthia have had how many children together there?
Two.
Two children. So altogether you have what? 6 kids?
6 kids in total.
6 kids in total. So wonderful family, right? Now Cynthia pretty much runs the Marshall Mint now, right?
Yeah.
She does all the work. That's a pretty tough business to be in too, because you got to constantly change prices and.
Yeah. Well, we'll hire a manager to run it here in time before long, but she'll still overlook it.
Yeah. So and the hotel. The hotel is there for folks to visit. How has the hotel? You call it your charity, but it's getting better every year, right?
Oh yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna take a break here, Roy. We'll come back, and then we're gonna talk about what you're doing today and what we can look forward to the future. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Back after this on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop, located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first. Somewhere in Time is a place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected. High-end die-cast models, vintage and antique furniture, Fenton glassware, kerosene lamps, toy trains, vintage neon, a new home decor selection, brothel and casino memorabilia, jewelry creations, and cameras in large collections throughout the store. Bring the family and find the unexpected that will be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time on Virginia Street in Reno.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle with a biker's bike shop.
Deluxe Travel, locally owned and operating since 1991, is the home for travel to Mexico and Central and South America. The crew at Deluxe Travel is bilingual, trustworthy, thorough, and caring. They will do everything possible to make your dream vacation the best it can be. Now is the time to book for winter travel, so stop by the office at 100 California Avenue or call 686-7000. You can also check us out on our website at deluxetravelltd.com.
At Deluxe Travel, we sell dreams. Come in and plan yours.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
All right, we're back here for our final segment with Hugh Roy Marshall and a story about the Cullens and about the Marshalls, especially this program dealing with the Marshalls in Nevada. A family that brings us great pride because of his pioneer spirit, his willingness to step out and do things that perhaps others wouldn't. And whether it be the retail store, the Marshall Mint, the hotel, the mining operations. And one thing we want to focus on now a little bit, you, Roy, is your generosity that you and your family have displayed towards Nevada. And that sort of is a historical trend here in Nevada. When we have people who have resources, they come to Nevada, they make money, they're successful, whether it be the Fleshmans or some of these other millionaires that we know of in the state. They always are willing to give back, and you're following that tradition, and I think that's just wonderful. What are some of your favorite charities that you have been involved with over your lifetime as an adult, whether it be in Texas or whether it be here? You did some great things down in Texas, first of all. Tell us what you did there.
Probably some of the greatest things that we did was with Danny Thomas started the St. Jude Research Development.
Oh, you did?
Hospital.
Oh, they're in Houston.
And then the Methodist Hospital. And of all the hospitals that we built and developed, the one that educationally has had the greatest impact has been Baylor Medical School and Medical School of Science.
Is that located in Houston as well?
It's located in Houston. They have the hospital there, and then they have the college right next to it.
I see.
So the kids get to go in and practice on the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So somehow that's been a good program. Now that it's going, many other schools do this now.
All right.
They send them as interns to to work on.
Yeah. So the family as a whole has been very interested in medical research, but you especially have an interest in education. And you started something very important down there in Houston as far as schools are concerned. What did you do there?
Yeah, I developed a graduate school in the studies of St. Thomas Aquinas, which has become a worldwide institute and center for studies of St. Thomas Aquinas.
All right.
A lot of people don't know about St. Thomas Aquinas. He was the individual who brought together the Christian religion with science.
Oh.
And basically gave us what's a priest going to tell somebody else about science? So, he was very, very intelligent, and he basically was in the very early ages of the world. Fourth,
it's probably not an easy task to start a school. Or
we had to develop the library.
You had to develop a library, is what I'm talking about.
That took 5 years.
5 years, and you had to go way back as far as
all overseas to get those books.
Yeah, and
because they're great big books like the size of this table here.
Yeah, you're talking about the 4th or 5th century, right? Yeah, they didn't have the printing facility.
No little paperbacks.
Yeah, for sure. So that school is still operating?
Yeah, it's doing very well.
Doing well, huh? Wow, wonderful. And is that part of the University of Houston?
Yeah, University of St. Thomas.
Oh, it's the University of St. Thomas. So
Yeah.
you were the founder of that. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Congratulations.
And we give money to all the schools in the area.
Yeah, wonderful. So now up here in Nevada, you have been very generous as well. Mm-hmm. I know up in Virginia City itself, you've done, just because you own that land, you've done some nice things for the community. Tell us.
I gave the cemetery into a foundation which has preserved the cemetery that's there, the Silver Terrace cemeteries.
All right, yeah. And that was the center of activity for many years back in the early days. But left to its own devices, it probably would have deteriorated to where people would have a hard time identifying
the graves all the time.
There was
over there partying all the time in the cemetery.
Yeah, there was a lot of vandalism there, right?
Vandalism, yeah.
Now we see that one from the road. That one cemetery is quite easy to see, and that's where a lot of tourists go. But there were a number of cemeteries.
The Catholic is on the back end of it.
Yeah, you can't really see it, can you?
No.
Yeah, and there's a wasn't there a Jewish?
There's a couple of Jewish cemeteries.
Yeah, and it's in that basin that we ran the drone over.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where the little small Hebrew cemetery.
Yeah, so hopefully we can show that with the drone footage we took the other day. And I suppose that you supported the community in other ways too, right?
Oh, many other ways, yeah.
Yeah, when they had a special project.
Well,
talk about Tunnel 6. What was your thought there? I mean, you put the hotel up, but your original thought, and you had the cooperation of the city there for a while, was to do what? Tell us about Tunnel 6. What?
Well, we need to put in Tunnel 6, which runs by the St. Mary's in the Mountains Cathedral.
Yeah.
And it's about 45 feet down under the street.
Right.
And it would basically take the railroad from Carson City to its original depot.
Right. And you contributed some funds to get that whole project going, even though it's not been completed yet. You were a real catalyst in that, and that's where the Silverland would have been a very important piece of that whole development.
Yeah.
Because the train would have come right to the front door.
And you've got to believe that because of the railroad, the mining was economical because much of that ore had to be processed down on the river.
Yeah.
And has to be trucked down, got down there somewhere or another. So the railroad took from Ophir and from those guys, the ores that were cheaper or not easy to work with.
Yeah, so what a wonderful project that would be if that was completed. And, of course, you have the Savage Mansion there, which is a historical site in itself.
Yeah.
Not only for your mining office, but it was there in the beginning.
Yeah. And, just like what we've been saying, that historically, silver was what really started the United States of America.
Right.
And now we're at a point where oil has come and taken the place of all energy on the earth pretty well, and now it's being replaced with other forms of energy. But my granddad was a great producer of oil and gas, and the billions of dollars worth at a time when nobody knew that it was worth anything at all.
I know.
They had everything was steam operated.
Yeah. Well, you're in a similar vein up there in Virginia City in that you're finding
platinum that we found there.
The platinum, I was going to mention platinum and other precious metals that are being discovered.
Rare metals,
Yeah, so that's a whole new thing, the Marshall Lode.
It really is, yeah.
So that's wonderful. But again, talking about your generosity, you're also involved down here in the community in different ways too, right? You support a lot of different causes and charities, and you make. You're not. I don't call you a political animal because you're not necessarily one side or the other. But you kind of pick the best man and support that, right? Is that the way you work yourself into politics?
I'm not at all political. I really only believe in the truth.
Yeah.
being a philosopher, I like to cut the chase quick.
Yeah, right.
And I don't like gossiping and all this kind of stuff that goes on.
Yeah. The truth is hard to find in politics, isn't it?
Yeah. They get things twisted around.
That's why we stay away from it on the show, too.
That's right.
We've had politicians on. They're very nice people, but we don't talk politics, right? We just talk about them.
Historical.
Talk about them. Yeah. So let me ask you, Uri, you mentioned the Marshall Lode. So how does the future look for that as far as, making that a real important discovery for the United States? How far along are we in seeing that developed?
Well, we're probably between 10 and 12% started.
Oh, yeah, so we got a long ways to go on
the thing about it is we've made the major hurdles already.
I see, yeah.
And from here on, it'll be building the entity to do it.
Right. Okay.
And
so
first we'll start with an information system.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't know what we'll call the mine, but it needs to have a name too.
Marshall Load.
Not
That's
Virginia City, we
what
don't
Marshall
call that.
Mine.
Maybe call it Marshall Mine or
Something.
yeah, and then we'll build it with the people that I worked with in the past.
Well, super. Yeah. So we have that to look forward to. You're opening up the Marshall Mint down here in the Reno Town Mall. So that's another future expansion that we can look forward to. And then we have our show.
Yeah.
Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. And I have to give you great kudos for that, because I hear from many, many people that are so happy to be able to learn about the history of Nevada. And I always tell people, I said, well, it's you, Roy. You, Roy, was a driving force on this and funds the show and does such a great job in bringing this history to Nevada.
That's what makes it preserved.
Right.
Is by us digging it out of the people around here and then putting it in the Historical Society, or the university.
Exactly.
It's a mining of the people's lives, what they spent here. So many of them that, in many cases, were different than other people we've known.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. As we have learned, many of our great guests don't write books.
No, that's right.
Right? They don't have a video history of their lives. So we've taken that burden away and helped people to be memorialized, you might say, through our program. So that is something that brings us great pride to be able to offer that kind of service. And again, it's your generosity that has provided us that opportunity.
Well, it's a local team. You got to admit the Fraley's who have the Reno car thing down the Harris car
yes.
show, and then the Fireman's Museum, in Virginia City. There's a lot of good people out there who are making a team.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them come over here.
Absolutely, yeah. We love it. So, you're right. We want to thank you for everything you've done. Coming from Houston, Texas, making Nevada your home, and making it a better place to live for yourself and for all of us.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I know the future is going to remember you as somebody very important here in northern Nevada. So, keep up the good work, like they say.
Yeah.
And thank you for the opportunity for us to be having this kind of collaboration and being able to enjoy the relationship over these, how many years now?
Sure.
It's going on 7 or 8 years, isn't it?
8 years, yeah.
All started with the camel races. So we're gonna look forward to more episodes here on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. And don't forget to tune in every week, 7 a.m. on the CW network. And we'd like to thank you, the audience, for being with us this week. Invite you back next week. In the meantime, have a great Nevada day on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present.
Under blue Nevada sky, with a hot sun in his eye, Hugh walked the elk and wild horse trail. Studied earth and sand, with a shovel in his hand. Struck bonanza, gold and silver, platinum ore. Was an old miner's code for good luck to name the strike, so we called it the Marshall Load. Golden Trail, Silver Road, Platinum Vein, the Marshall Load. Golden Trail, Silver Road, so we called it the Marshall Load.